to the College Cinephile. I'm Marsh Gutierrez, and I'm here today with Sydney, and we're going to be covering Happy Death Day to You, the sequel to the potential cult classic, Happy Death Day.
Directed by Christopher Landon and starring Jessica Roth, Israel Broussard, Rudy Modine, and Phi Vu.
This takes place a day after the events of the first film, after Tree finally breaks the loop while facing off against a slasher-type killer. Now, in this film, she finds herself in another loop, but this time, things are different. Now, let's go straight into the discussion. Did you feel like this movie was necessary? There was a lot of talk in the movie community of whether or not this movie was necessary for the plot. What do you
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not?
No. You know, in the first movie, we don't know why she's stuck in a loop. She just is. And it's movie logic. Everyone's fine with that. We were willing to move on with our lives, but in this one, they decide to explain why she's stuck in a loop. And that was not entirely necessary. And I guess, they have to explain it if they want to tell another story. But was another story necessary? Not really.
No. I don't think it was necessary. Again, I feel like the first movie ended on a note where it was really good. Like, Tree had just broken the loop. It was still unknown what the loop was. And I like those kinds of movies where you're like, oh, it could be anything. I like that they didn't explain it to us. They let us build the story on our own beliefs. It could have been science. It could have been fate. I just feel like they didn't really need to address the film whatsoever. And I just feel like this first one ended good. Now, as far as the plot, other than it being not necessary, I feel like we should still talk about the plot. What'd you think?
I watched it last night, and I'm kind of having a hard time thinking about what the plot was, other than what we've already said. It's early enough in the movie that I can just say why she's stuck in a loop again. It's because science. Science is, a scapegoat in a lot of ways, and they definitely use it as a scapegoat in this movie. So.
Yeah, I feel like the science in it was just like, I feel like they just got like a science textbook and be like, use this word. This word sounds like science. This is science.
Exactly.
But other than that, I think that the plot was still fun, though. I generally thought that I laughed a lot in this movie. I smiled a lot in this movie. And I just feel like it was mostly just, it didn't go back to the whole slasher type, because this was a horror movie back in the original film. But this one time, they kind of centered on the comedy bit. Some jokes did land, but some jokes didn't. But I feel like the plot itself was just montage, heartfelt moment, and then the ending.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I definitely had fun with it as well. I will say, however, the trailers, I think, betrayed the movie of what it actually is. I was going in this movie thinking, now there's someone going after all three of them, Tree, Carter, and Ryan. That's not the case. Someone goes after Ryan for a minute, and then it's Tree's story again. And I would have really enjoyed if it was centered around the three of them, more so than just Tree. I think that would have been a lot more fun. Yeah,
there's a lot of they really went all out for this film, with the science that they had in it. They pulled out all the stops. You have parallel dimensions, you have time travel. It's every bit of science fiction, problematic events that could happen in science fiction, it happens in this movie. And I feel like that was just too much for the story. I feel like they should have stayed with one thing and then just kept with it. But other than that, what'd you think of the jokes in the movie?
I laughed.
I laughed too.
I know that, not always all the jokes landed for, I know Anakin was saying it didn't quite land for him.
No, yeah. These jokes are they vary for a lot. It's just whoever's portraying them. The main actress, Jessica Roth, I love her in this film. She is so charismatic. She is great with the joke. She brings the humor when they're supposed to be here. She brings the emotion when it's supposed to be. I found myself getting choked up on certain scenes. But I feel like any other person that could portray a joke other than her, I just think that they just didn't do it right.
Yeah, there's these two nerd scientists that they're just your stereotypical nerdy science students, and they're supposed to kind of be comedic relief, and not all of their jokes landed, I know.
But overall, what did you think of the movie, and what would you rate it?
I definitely had fun with it. It has problems, but when you're going to see a Happy Death Day movie, you can't go in there expecting an Oscar-worthy film. You have to go in and try to have fun with it, and I did. So I think for what it is, taking it with a grain of salt, I'd give it like a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. That's a good rating. Just for me, and just because I love Jessica Rath, I'd give it at least a 3.5 out of 5. And that's just because she carried this movie on her shoulders, like, and they set up for another movie, but I just think if they leave it where it is
Please,
right now, it should be good.
Just so you know, there's an end credit scene, and I feel like it completely ruins everything. Please, don't.
Please don't.
Yeah. Thank you for watching The College Cinephile. Please smash that subscribe button if you want to see more, and check out our videos. Make sure to leave a like and a comment.
All right. Well, that's it for us this time. We'll see you later, Internet.